46th Parliament, opened today by the Governor-General. James O'Doherty has more.
A day of ceremony, both Indigenous and inherited.
Here, 65,000 years of Aboriginal culture meets mere centuries of Westminster tradition.
The Governor-General opening Parliament by setting out the government's plans with a message to Scott Morrison's quiet Australians.
The aspirations, efforts and priorities of these Australians will now drive my government's agenda.
Top of that agenda, income tax cuts.
From 2024 to 25, Australians will be able to increase their earnings from $45,000 to $200,000 a year without facing an increase in their marginal tax rate.
Scott Morrison told the Coalition Party Room the path to success is to focus on the people outside this place, not the ones inside it, warning his colleagues they will not be leaving Canberra until the government's tax cuts pass. But it's those inside Parliament deciding the fate of the tax package. Labor still hedging its bets on how it will vote on the government's plan.
The Shadow Cabinet will make the decision if there isn't time for that.
And have you seriously not made a decision on this yet?
Well, what we've done, David, is made a decision to fight for our amendments.
Scott Morrison's plan B, the Senate crossbench.
We're not quite across the line yet. We're just working through some of the finer details. We can't see any roadblocks, but there's a few bumps that need to be smoothed out.
With Pauline Hanson opposing the tax cuts, the vote will come down to Jackie Lambie.
Welcome back.
She says she's still making up her mind. During the election, the Prime Minister promised the tax cut would be passed in June. Now,
people will get it next week. So once they put in their tax returns, if they put in their tax returns next week, then they will get it just days after.
James O'Doherty, Sky News, Canberra.
Well, after the ceremony of the opening of Parliament, the House is now resuming. I'm not sure if we can bring it up. They'll first be electing deputy speakers with Tony Smith, the Speaker, elected this morning. And the nominations underway there now for the deputy speakers. Then they'll move into the business, and that is the legislation being introduced by Josh Frydenberg, the Treasurer, for these tax cuts we've been debating through the election and since. Well, Anthony Albanese this afternoon has confirmed to us that when it comes to this vote in the House tonight, here's what Labor will do.
Well, we'll move our amendments, we'll vote for them, and then we'll allow the package to go through so that in the Senate, it can be dealt with, and the amendments which are receiving... I would have thought today's decision is an opportunity for Matthias Cormann and for the Prime Minister to say, yep, monetary policy can't do all the heavy lifting. That's really what the Reserve Bank is saying by changing the interest rate 2 months in a row. And what they're also saying, what this is also an indicator of, is the idea that today you can say what the economy will look like in 2024, 2025 really looks quite frankly absurd.
So you've just said
absurd,
you will allow it to go through the House tonight.
Yes. And we've facilitated debate, frankly, David.
If there's a division, does that mean you'll vote for the package in the House?
In the House, yes. We've made that decision yesterday.
When it comes to the Senate, will the caucus get another chance to have a say on this?
Well, it's been referred to. The Shadow Cabinet will make the decision if there isn't time for that.
And have you seriously not made a decision on this yet?
Well, what we've done, David, is made a decision to fight for our amendments.
That decision will be of the Shadow Cabinets, and it seems it won't come until Thursday. Anthony Albanese talking to us earlier there. The full caucus met yesterday, but it will now be the Shadow Cabinet that make that decision. In the end, I asked Anthony Albanese a couple of times there, is there any chance they'll actually vote against tax cuts if it comes to it? If the government won't split the bill, which it won't, would Labor actually vote against it? Well, he's not giving an answer one way or another. That's certainly not ruling out the option of allowing it to go through the Senate in a couple of days. There are mixed views in Labor on this.